Sorry, I look like a nasty, greasy little rat child today. I am trying to fix my skin, which means lots of oil. I thought it would be fun to do a little Q&A again. I used to do these once a month, and I do want to bring them back because I think they're fun. But it's where you ask me questions on Instagram, usually, and I answer them here. And sometimes they're about me, sometimes they're about popular topics. So it's a little bit all over the place. I'm going to answer some questions from maybe some new followers. I mean, more than anything, I just lose followers on Instagram. But, you know, maybe there's some new people out there who wanted to know some things about me. So that's what we're doing today. I also work in, well, I don't work in 45 minutes. I have to leave for work in 45 minutes. So we may be a little bit rushed, but that's why we're putting our face on while we do this, kids. Also, if you like this new setup, let me know. It looks really boring right now because I have like nothing in the back. I need to move in a way that you can see this, but it's also just weirdly lit right now because we're still like smoky and overcast here because, you know, the world's on fire right now. My friend Nicole asked which of her dogs are my favorite, which seems like a very rude question to ask. I will start with that. And probably Ziggy, just because if you know me, Ziggy's my boy. He's the OG, he was the first dog, love of my life, favorite nasty little stinky boy, so probably Ziggy. And then she asked favorite memory of our Disney trip. Honestly, all kind of blurs together. What I remember is being in the hotel more than I actually remember us being at Disney. Make it make sense. Anything related to cars, we'll just leave it at that. But honestly, just some good hotel times. Nothing says friendship like sleep deprived at a motel in a different country. Do you like living in Canada? Yes and no. The obvious pros are things like school is half the cost, even though it's still ridiculously expensive, and like, you know, basic healthcare I don't have to pay for, even though I very rarely have had to use it and usually end up needing medical help that costs more than what anything covers and I have no insurance. But also, like, there's just so many annoying things about not being in the States. Like, there's so many stores that we don't have here at all. If you try to order things online, the shipping is insane. Like, I try to support small shops and small businesses, but like every single Etsy store, even the ones that are in Canada, I feel like they're like $25 shipping, and I'm like, this product is only $7. Shop Disney, if I ever like see something cute, I'm like, oh, maybe if I can't go to the parks, this will be on Shop Disney. It usually is, but the Shop Disney shipping is like $30 plus duties because they don't have a Canadian website. Which also I think is bullshit because there's a UK website, but that's just me being difficult. I don't know, I guess the good things about Canada are way better than the bad things about Canada because the bad things are just like inconveniences. But they're still annoying things. And obviously, like, you know, no Disney. And I wouldn't be traveling anyways right now because I'm not an irresponsible garbage person. Sorry. So even if I did live like west coast of the States, I wouldn't be traveling to Florida right now. But I don't know, it's just frustrating to know that like right now in the world, like America's being so bad about everything that borders just won't open and visas won't come back, which we'll talk about later in this video too, because I know y'all asked about that. I feel like for the things that I want to do in life and the places that I would want to live, things are so limited because America is America and hates anyone who's not American. But I just like move somewhere and live where I want to live and like stuff like that, you know? That's the annoying part. So yes and no. What got you into Disney? I actually have kind of a video about this that's really old, like 2018, before my first program. I'm pretty sure I filmed it in my old apartment. Whoa, throwback. We were always a Disney family. We went on Disney trips when I was a kid, and I've never been like a big like partier. Like I mean I drink, but I don't really like go out and drink, and I haven't since I've been like 19 and lived in Vancouver. So I'm not a partier. I like doing like fun stuff. This sounds so vague and weird, but like if I'm going on vacation, I'm not going on vacation to like lay out in the sun and drink. Like I'm not like a Mexico person, I'm not like a Vegas person. Don't get me wrong, I kind of fuck with Vegas a little bit, but I'm not like a going out to like pool parties in Vegas kind of person. When I think of like what's something I can do that's like fun and not super expensive, like I know Disney's expensive, but in terms of vacations, Disney's not crazy expensive. It's not like going to Europe for where I am. Like, what's fun and pretty close and has, you know, good food and is like super pure and not like dangerous. I don't know, it just made sense. And like I said, I've always liked Disney. I've always been a Disney person. I wish I knew about the program earlier because realistically I could have done like 4 years of it. But at the same time, I'm also glad that I found it when I did because I don't think I would have changed anything about my last program. Like I said, we've always been a Disney family. So thank you to my parents for that one. What's your favorite holiday? This is hard because I want to say Halloween because I feel like Halloween like fits my vibe. My birthday's in October. October is my favorite month, but in reality it's probably Christmas. Like, I love Christmas music, I love Christmas movies, I love Christmas recipes. Everything about Christmas I love. I love gift giving. Oh, I love gift giving. So probably Christmas, but Halloween is a very close second. How are you coping in the new place? Is your mental health okay? Love you. Oh, love you too. It's good. I mean, is my mental health ever great? No. But it's hard because now I have like just a billion things to do. Today, for example, am working a 10-hour day, so Saturdays and Sundays I do 10-hour shifts, and then I do 2 9.5s, something like that, because I've just been doing a lot. So I'm still trying to get in almost full-time work, so I think I'm at like 37 or 38 hours a week now, and then I'm in school for approximately 13 hours a week, and then I'm still trying to do YouTube, and then I'm working on some side projects. So moving on top of that is difficult, and I just feel like I haven't had a ton of time to get settled. So like, I love it, don't get me wrong, and it's great to be in a new place, but I just have things I need to do. Like, y'all can see my boxes, I think, right there. I need to like do stuff like that and finish setting things up, but that's just me having poor time management. So I really want to challenge myself one of these weeks to just like not let myself go on YouTube or something like that and see how much I get done. The new place is great. I'm not mentally prepared to start paying rent in 2 weeks, so we're just gonna not think about that because there's a bunch of other things. Like, what day is it today? The 19th. I need to pay my tuition by the 22nd, so I think I might be calling my mother tonight to see if she will assist me with that because she said she would, and that is part of the only reason I went back to school this semester. I don't know. Money's the only thing apartment-wise that's stressing me out. Everything else apartment-wise is fine. Would you rather ride the monorail or the Disneyland Railroad? Oh, finally some Disneyland questions. The love she deserves. Maybe they're talking about the monorail in Disney World, actually. Oh, that's hard. If we're talking about Disneyland monorail versus Disneyland Railroad, 1000%. The Disneyland Railroad is so cute. I love it. But if we're talking Disney World monorail, oh, probably that, just because I love everything about it. I love like the view when you turn around the corner of the castle, and I love like going through the Contemporary because, oh my god, every time I even think about Chef Mickey's I want to cry. And going around the lake, so I don't know. Probably the Walt Disney World monorail, if that's what you're talking about. Tips on getting a boyfriend when you can't go anywhere and have no job / are homeschooled. I don't think I am the girl to be asking this because I am also the worst. I don't know, I got to a point where I just like don't really care for like Hinge or Bumble or Tinder. Like, not my vibe. So, you know, I just never leave my house, and I hope eventually someone will find me. Is that how that works? I don't know. There's very successful long-term relationships that I'm sure will know a lot more about this than me, so I'm sorry I'm not helpful. You may have been asked this before, but what are your favorite Disney movies? I feel like, I didn't realize it, but I really like Pixar movies, so like, I love Monsters, Inc. Oh my god, I love Monsters, Inc. so much. Every other blonde girl in the entire world, like Tangled. I really liked Onward. We're talking Pixar again. Oh my god, Ratatouille. Oh my god, Wreck-It Ralph. I have so many that I like. But I don't know, I tend to be a big Pixar person. I like Disney movies, and I like a lot of the classics. Like, I rewatched Cinderella over quarantine, which I haven't seen in like forever, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. It might be Monsters, Inc. I really like Monsters, Inc. Also, Cars. Those are a couple of my favorites. If we're talking princess movies, I really like Frozen. I really like Frozen 2 because I'm basic. I like Tangled. All those basic movies I love, you know? Also, I don't know if you're counting this as Disney, but I love Marvel. So, Infinity War is probably my favorite out of those ones. Not Endgame, just normal Infinity War. Do you plan to get any other cats or animals in the future? I'm very content with my small little bean here of a cat. She's always lived alone, so she's kind of just like chilling. She doesn't mind it. She's used to us. I think she's just happy that she has 2 moms now, because me and Mariah work opposite schedules on some days, which is great for her because she gets twice as much attention. I know Mariah is looking at getting a kitten, which, not gonna lie, makes me a little nervous because this one is so well behaved that I don't know what throwing a kitten into the dynamic is gonna do for her. I know Mariah's looking at one because I think she's just sad that, like, this cat is still like my cat, and we all know that. She literally is stuck to me like glue. She follows me around from room to room. Me personally, this is kind of like my my forever cat. I'm stuck with this one. She also was really young when I got her. She's like 1.5 years old, so I think she's only 3.5 now. So I'm literally stuck with her for like forever because cats live to be like 97, I swear. Do you plan to go back to Disney in 2021? Kind of. I don't want to commit to anything because obviously like the state of the world changes like day to day at this point. Literally yesterday they just announced border closures being extended into October or November, one of those. So even if I wanted to go, like, I know you can still fly over, and I know there's still idiots that are flying over and then just quarantining when they come home. I, 1, cannot afford to take 2 weeks off of work to quarantine when I return home from the country. And 2, I'm more socially responsible than that. So I'm not just gonna go from a different country just to go see Disney. That doesn't make any sense to me. If things get better and like borders open up and you don't have to quarantine and things like that, I would love to. I have friends down in Florida that I would love to see. Obviously I miss the parks. I have a, you know, huge flight credit to use because my flights were canceled. So, but also friends of mine were talking about doing a different park possibly because obviously America is like the worst of the world right now. So they were thinking about doing Paris. I think it would be great to do Tokyo. But obviously those aren't that much more expensive for me, for being totally honest. For me to go to Tokyo is not that much more than for me to go to Florida, but for me to go to Paris is like very expensive because I'm on the West Coast. So we'll see. Do I want to? Yes. Do I care enough about the people around me to do it? I mean, I care enough about the people around me not to do it. One of the supervisors at front desk asked me how much I love my job. We're not gonna talk about that right now. Do you think university is worth it? It depends. For me, honestly, I probably could have done a like 2-year program at a college and not spent $40,000 and gone the same like things out of it. So for me, maybe not, but I do think it was an interesting experience. I think without university, I wouldn't have had an excuse to like move to a different part of the country and meet new people. And if I didn't meet new people, I would have never met my friend Nicole, and then we would have never gone to Disneyland, and I would have never gone to Disney, and then I wouldn't have never been able to get into the program. So like all that stuff, do I think it was worth it? Yes. Do I think that you should look into alternative options? Also yes. There are some jobs that like obviously require an education, like, you know, a doctor or a lawyer or anything that has like qualifications that you need to actually work in the field, and like those are obviously worth it because you can't get the job without it. But for me, someone who's now just working in hospitality, not even related to my degrees, and I don't think I'll see myself doing anything that will require my degree. I think it'll definitely help. Like, I think any job in the future, my degree will help me get a job if it's related, but I don't necessarily think that my degree will be the reason or like a requirement to get that job. So yes and no. Least favorite park and why? Ooh, Let's all get together, kids, and talk about why Epcot is the worst park. That is all. That is my entire discussion. I will not be taking criticism because if you disagree with me, you are just factually wrong. Epcot is my least favorite park. Sorry, not sorry. Mostly because, like, Disneyland and DCA are probably my top two. Both of those parks I would absolutely die for. They are flawless. They're amazing. I do request that you bring back Paint the Night. Thank you, any Disney executive that is watching this. I do need that to happen at some point when you reopen. But besides that, flawless, amazing. Magic Kingdom, I didn't love Magic Kingdom. It used to be like my third park out of the 4 on the East Coast. And then I worked there and I fell in love like a little weak psycho that I am for characters. So now I love Magic Kingdom. I think DAC is just a really cool concept. I've always loved DAC. DAC was the one thing that I was the most excited to see when I left there because I'd never been to the parks on the East Coast before my first program. So I love DAC. Obviously Pandora is sick. I love the safaris. I've always been an animal person. I was like that little kid growing up who loved animals, so we stand DAC. And then Studios, I just think Studios is cool. I know that Studios is like not a very loved on park for a lot of people, but Tower of Terror is still probably like one of my favorite rides ever. I love Tower of Terror so much. Yeah, I will buy any Tower of Terror merch. One day I will buy that Tower of Terror bathrobe. Like, that'll be my peak. There's no going up from that. That'll be when I am at my strongest, is when I own that bathrobe. So I love that. I love Batuu. I don't know. Hollywood Studios is probably my second least favorite, but I still love Studios more than Epcot just because Epcot bores me. Like I said, I'm not a drinker. I'm not the most adventurous eater, so like I like some of the food and drink from around the world, but I don't like love it. I can't make a day of it. There's not a ton of rides. Like Soarin's there, but I also like Soarin' over California better, so like if they brought that back instead of Soarin' over the world. I don't really care for Spaceship Earth. I know that's a sin, but I don't really care for Spaceship Earth, and I don't really care for Frozen, and I do like Living with the Land, but I just don't really care for a lot of the rides there. And like the seas are cool. The seas are probably my favorite part about Epcot, but like I don't know, Epcot just I don't feel for Epcot. I'm like, Epcot's there, but I don't like want to cry when I think about Epcot. I want to cry when I think about everything else. What year do you think programs like the CEP will resume? Honestly, 2022 maybe. I think it's really going to depend on a vaccine and how mandatory that vaccine is. I do think Canada has like a good chance of being one of the first ones because obviously like we're close to the US and the US likes us like more than Mexico, which is rude and I don't understand, but whatever, America. So I do think we'll be one of the first countries to come back, like us in the UK, probably. That's my guess. I don't know, like it's September 19th and the last 2 years applications have dropped on the 25th, so I really don't think they're going to, because I don't know how much you guys who are watching this have looked into it, but Disney is on a union, and pretty much if you're unionized, all of your full-time workers who are unionized get certain rights. The full-time workers haven't gone back to work yet fully, and don't even get me started on like the part-time and the seasonals and people like that. So if your full-time workers haven't gone back to work, then you can't bring in temporary work because you have to give those full-time workers work first. It makes sense. So I think while there's still full-time workers not working because of lower capacity in the parks, because of COVID, I don't think we're gonna cut back. So I would hope by 1 year from now it will be better, because to see how much better at least Canada's gotten in the 6 months from, you know, March. I mean, where I live like peaked in freaking August. But seeing from like March to now how far we've gotten in like 6 months, you would hope in a year from now America would get it together. And I think obviously a vaccine will help, but I'm kind of saying 2022. On that note, one of the girls who's supposed to go this past summer actually asked thoughts on DCEP 2021. I don't think it's going to happen. And like, I think it's just going to be such a mess. Like, this is obviously speculation, and like everyone talks about this where they're like, oh, if Disney opens up, they'll bring back these kids, or we're extending requirements for this. I think at the end of the day, Disney doesn't have that much control. I think it's going to be up to when the government allows J1 visas, which right now there is no J1 visas, so like we can't come back. And I don't think they're just gonna be able to like rewrite requirements. Like I don't necessarily think Disney can be like, oh, we graduated 2 years ago if 2022 ends up being the first program. Like sure, you can still come when you can't provide proof of your studentship, proof of student status, that's what I meant to say. So I don't know, I don't think 2021 is gonna happen, which makes me sad because like I'm in classes full time right now. I could apply for it. I didn't think I was gonna be able to, but I could apply for it, and I'm probably gonna be graduating 2021, so I won't be able to apply for 2022. But I don't know. Last question, because I've already been talking for 25 minutes, is someone asked, what is your dream job? And honestly, I do not know. I feel like I go through like waves of like what I want to do with my life, and I can never decide. It's so hard because I have talked about this before. I have 2 degrees and they're very different and they're not related at all, and I don't know which one I like more. I mean, honestly, I probably like communications more. Sorry, Crim. Crim's more interesting, but I'm better at communications, and I just don't know what to do with it. And now I live in a city where like I don't love it here, so I don't want to stay here long term, so I don't really want to commit to getting a job here. This is just me complaining about my future now. I would say my dream job would probably be doing either like brand management. I think it would be really fun to work for like an agency who helps with not necessarily celebrities, but I think like influencers are really fun to work with. So I know a lot of people online do like agency for that and do brand connections and help like in just assisting with content and posting and things like that. I think that would be fun. Or working for a company doing like social media and public relations for a brand, I think would be really interesting. I don't know, like anything that's like around content creation or content planning I would love. I think social media is just really interesting, and that's what a lot of my communications degree has been in, but I also don't know how to get into that industry or what I would do. So a more realistic front, I also with my current degree have looked into working in, you know, women's shelters and with community outreach programs and things like that. That's kind of what I was looking at, because I've done a lot of my work in crim in women's studies and gender studies and domestic violence and things like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but we'll leave it at that. She was asleep, so she's a sleepy little bean right now. She was on the bed that whole time. If you're wondering how Kat is doing with the apartment, she's doing great. Hi. She's all settled. She mostly snoozes, but she leaves me toys every morning in front of my door, which I think is very nice of her. Like I said, she loves having 2 moms. Are you awake now? Did I wake you up? Is your tail going? Do you have to go to work in 15 minutes, boob? Oh, you got eye goops. You got crusty eyes. There you go. Promise she's not dead. She just looks dead. Hello. You look dead. Are you okay? Are you okay? Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna go make food for lunch because, like I said, 10-hour day today. If you wanted to take part in one of these and you have questions to ask me for next time, hit me up on Instagram. All my links to all my other social medias are down below. It's easy to find me. And we will see you guys sometime soon, right, Bean? She's like, let me go, I just want to sleep. But we will see you soon. Goodbye.